What's going on, guys? I'm Tyler, and I'm here to let you know that Uncut Gems is no perfect movie. And it takes place in 2012 New York, where Adam Sandler plays a guy who runs his own jewelry store in the Diamond District. He owes a shit ton of money to his brother in law, who just happens to be a loan shark. But he receives this black opal from Ethiopia that he assumes is worth millions. And pro basketball player Kevin Garnett, played by Kevin Garnett, wants to buy it at his auction. And this creates a domino effect that begins to ruin his personal and professional life. And I was anticipating this movie. I wasn't super excited by it because I had seen the Safdie brothers' previous movie, Good Time, and I really liked it. It lost a lot of steam on second viewing in regards to its pacing, but it was still really impressive. But I heard rumblings about it at TIFF, and I got more excited at the fact that Adam Sandler was doing a crime thriller, and not only that, was good in the crime thriller. And that part is especially true, because Adam Sandler hasn't been this good in years. I should make this clear, though. He plays the same generic, loud, obnoxious, and unlikable character that he's played in Happy Madison movies for decades. But this is a movie that acknowledges that and condemns him from beginning to end for that. And you might be wondering, well, gee, why are we caring about this character who makes so many shitty mistakes? Well, for me, it's because even when he's at rock bottom, he refuses to be a victim. When loan sharks come after him, he doesn't run away. He charges straight towards them. He stands up to them. And you just gotta admire how brave he is for that. And the same can be said for Julia Fox as Sandler's employee and mistress, because at first it seems like they have a really codependent relationship because neither one of them really feels as if they have anyone to look after them in life other than each other. And that's kind of the thing that holds together the chemistry, for lack of a better word. But as the movie plays on, this character, Julia, shows herself to be a pretty brave individual as well. There are so many celebrities that she encounters as part of her job that makes her seem like an easy target for these people who are so used to having people bow before them and do whatever they want. But no, she has barriers, she has limitations. She doesn't want anybody, regardless of how famous they are, touching her, regardless of how strong they are. And that was another very admirable thing about her as a character. Now let's talk about the Safdie brothers' direction, because they do a lot of things that are really effective and a couple things that really took me out of the movie. The things that work was that their use of handheld cam never felt distracting. It felt like everything was happening spontaneously. They, as usual, use a lot of close-ups to make characters feel boxed in, as the majority of these events, not all of them, but the majority take place in real time. They use wide shots to make characters feel completely empty, which is really hard to do when you're in New York City, but seeing as how whenever there's a wide shot, characters are looking at the focused ones in complete shame or surprise, so after a while you just completely forget that anybody else is watching what we're watching. The thing that didn't always work for me, and this was something that a lot of people are praising, but I just sat back and went, yeah, I don't know about that, was the sound design and sound mixing. There are a ton of scenes, especially during the first hour, where characters are non-stop shouting over each other, trying to get their voices heard. And I understand what the objective of that is to show Sandler in an incredibly desperate position where he has to enunciate everything, make himself to be the boss of the situation when he really isn't. But my problem with that is, A, it's really hard to focus on what these characters are actually saying or what they want when it isn't always clear. This is a movie that I feel like I have to watch on Netflix with subtitles in order to clearly understand what each character wants. It wasn't as visually told as I would have hoped it would. There are certain scenes where it's very clear visually what they want and what they're trying to say, but there are just as many scenes that aren't. And the other problem is that there are some characters who aren't really nowhere in the same position as Sandler, but they still gotta shout over him, especially Lakeith Stanfield, who is really good in the movie, but he's shown to have a pretty successful career outside of helping Sandler, but he's constantly going on and on about certain things that I couldn't always follow. It's shown that he has a really successful career doing other things, but we just don't know what they are because we never really hear him half the time unless he's shouting a ton of needless N-words that really amounted to nothing. The only time that technique really worked was when Sandler is trying to convince Garnett to give him back the opal, to buy other things, to work with each other. And you get the sense that Sandler is such a big shot in his own mind, and Garnett is a big shot because he's a pro basketball player that everybody looks up to, and you can really feel the conflict there. But when Sandler is talking to just random people on the street who are pissing him off, it doesn't work, and it doesn't feel meaningful. But the other time that it works, especially during the last third, is when it becomes the last straw, when these mobsters feel as if they can't take it anymore with him. And there are really great uses of claustrophobia when characters are locked in. That's all I'm going to say. But, and I should make this clear, this is a completely unintentional thing that made the sound design a hard thing to sit through, is that when characters shout over each other, I feel like it gives audiences permission to talk out loud in theaters. And I know for a fact that nobody wants that to happen, because then your audience is going to pay less attention to the movie and just, like, shoot the shit and not even care, which is a waste of money in all honesty. But when these characters are shouting over each other and I'm having a hard enough time just following what they're saying, it's even harder when the people in front of me, to my left, to my right, behind me, are talking over and over again. It's just like, what's this? What's this? And it's just like, shut up! Shut the fuck up and just watch! You can talk about it after the movie. I mean, seriously, how would you like it if you're watching this review and there was some cheap background noise as I'm talking over you that completely ruins whatever points I'm trying to make about this movie?
I can play on my phone as
Seriously,
much as
would you
I'd
like that?
to.
Would it make
I don't care if the
anything I'm
is
saying or
fucking
doing
with
in this
people's
video
vision.
completely worth it for you? Okay. Tangent aside, I am glad that I saw Uncut Gems, and I'm probably going to go back and see it again to, like, get more of a reassessment, but I was hoping this would be a movie that I would regret not putting on my best of the year list, but this would have been a pretty good honorable mention. It has a great cast. It has a really nice look and style and grittiness to it. There were just certain aspects that other audiences like more than I do. And for that reason, I'm going to give Uncut Gems a 4 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Uncut Gems, and be sure to like and subscribe. Take care.